In the ghost stories of Inazuma, there's a tale about a meeting between the human and inhuman. For me, this is a memento of a chance meeting with something inhuman. During the summer festival, I was separated from my parents. It was but a moment, but I had wanted to look at the water balloons and let go of my hand that had gripped onto my father's sleeve. Before we knew it, the tide of people escorting the divine palanquin had washed us apart. Hey guys, I'm Clementine, and in this installment of my Genshin Impact lore series, I wanted to share the story behind the Retracing Bolide artifact set. Spoiler warning, as there will be some details that will be covered from world quests in Inazuma. So if you haven't yet, I suggest finishing those quests first. Now going back to the Retracing Bolide. It is told from the perspective of a young boy who grew up wanting to relive the memories of when he attended the summer festival of Inazuma. We were first introduced to this set back before Inazuma was released. Its story has been left unanswered as to who the fox-eyed lady's true identity really is. Contrary to popular belief, this set does not talk about the upcoming character Yoimiya, but about the Kitsune goddess who lived 500 years ago. It is said that her memories were inherited by a shrine maiden only known as Kazari, and has had some special relationships with more characters in Inazuma. As we begin, I will also tell you what there's to know about this fox-eyed lady the boy has met. Now this is his story, interspersed with nuggets of history, spoken directly from the young boy's mouth. Let's get started. Retracing Bolide, the first chapter, the fox goddess of Inazuma.
In this life, I once took the form of a human, in which I walked with these short-lived yet beautiful creatures, and became friends with many people from all walks of life. All of them are friends, whom I did not expect to make. I hope the barrier that guards them will not be eroded by any darkness. Everything, all of this, they are all things that I yearn for.
The Kitsune Saiguu, who is also known as Lady Saiguu and Hakushin Kitsune, was a descendant of the Hakushin clan and was worshipped as a Kitsune goddess. It is said that her mother had 6 apprentices, skilled in magic and shape-shifting. Not much else is known about her mother, but she would eventually become a very powerful figure in Narukami Island. This is because the blood of the Hakushin clan carries some very strong power. Lady Saiguu had 2 emissaries who stood closely by her side. These were Sky Kitsune and Earth Kitsune, serving her and obeying any command she would give out. She would later have an advisor-like role for a certain shrine maiden known as Asase Kanade. Her name was mentioned in Shiminawa's reminiscence, and that set is clearly told from Asase Kanade's point of view. Lady Saiguu would often join Kanade in managing some affairs of the shrine while also showing some of her playful side. Lady Saiguu seems particularly philosophical around the topic of eternity, with quotes such as,
The so-called Omamori cannot make one's wishes come true at all, but they can make them eternal through disentanglement. Trying to hold on to a moment's beauty is like foolishly trying to grasp the morning dew. Life is full of uncertainty. Love is fleeting, and even lasting memories may be lost. Losing one's memory is no different from losing one's life. It is like death amidst darkness eternal.
All of these were taken from Shimenawa's reminiscence, whom Kanade took as sacred words from Lady Saiguu. If you read it closely, these quotes seem to be dramatic and contain some wise beliefs. This is because Lady Saiguu was an expert in poetry and would often recite short chants of humble words and puzzling proverbs. This was demonstrated again when we also read the lore details of the Hakushin Ring, where we can read her poetic delivery of her final words before succumbing to the abyss. Explaining what resulted in her death, as soon as the cataclysm had occurred, the Raiden Shogun issued a campaign heading to Kanaria where the cataclysm took place. Accompanying her was Lady Saiguu, as she and the Shogun were close allies. Take note that there were more figures who joined Raiden Shogun on her campaign. So as they reached the kingdom of Kanaria, battles took place and Lady Saiguu would succumb to the abyss, leading to her final moments recalled in the Hakushin Ring. As sad as it may seem, she recounted running across Narukami, racing the Great Tengu, and many people that she came across. She explicitly described everyone she had some special moments with, including the young boy. At the very end, she hoped that her memory would return to Inazuma and the things she loved would be spared from the cataclysm. Her wish became true as her memory returned to Inazuma and formed Kazari. She had the appearance of a shrine maiden who wore a fox-like mask to conceal her true form. Kazari inherited the memory of the short chants Lady Saiguu knew and would often recite them without restraint. As for her emissaries, not knowing her fate, the Sky Kitsune and Earth Kitsune turned to stone statues to wait for her return. This was stated in the archive description for the Kitsune, where it says, "A sly, prideful creature that has incredible intelligence and a lasting memory, or so the urban legends say. They pay no attention when someone approaches, seemingly used to living alongside mankind." The Kitsune have a long history in Inazuman culture. Some legends say that they were the family of Kitsune Saiguu in ages past. After she disappeared, the mightier Sky Kitsune and Earth Kitsune turned into stone statues to await her return. As their kind slowly dwindled, the Kitsune lost their mystical might and now no longer speak. Retracing Bolide, the second chapter, A Summer Night to Remember. In the ghost stories of Inazuma, there is a tale about a meeting between the human and the inhuman. Some may label it an imitation, a false life, for life lies in change, pain and growth, in meetings, and also in partings. But the memories of meeting her, of watching the fireworks bloom in the sky like fresh flowers together, the memories of that fox-eyed woman who eventually disappeared without a trace. This unwithering flower is the final thing to remember her by. Now that we know the history of Kitsune Saiguu, the fox-eyed woman, this second chapter will then tell the events that happened during a summer festival, a time before the cataclysm happened. It starts off when this young boy attends the summer festival, held in Inazuma together with his parents. Filled with flocks of people the festival was, suddenly the young boy caught a glimpse of water balloons ahead. He lets go of his father's sleeve, but as soon as he checks it out, his way back was separated when a palanquin entourage got in between. Due to this separation, the young boy tried to return to his parents but to no success. He was now lost within the crowds of unknown faces. To a child, this was like a horror movie, where anyone cannot be trusted but your parents. The young boy continued his search and stumbled upon the torii gates along the road to the shrine. With his fear of not seeing his parents again, he started weeping and cried all his pain away. As he cried in the background, no one came to his help as they moved on with the summer festival. It was then that a beautiful lady, described to have fox-like eyes, came to the young boy's side. She took his tiny hand and comforted him with words of,
How preposterous to leave such an adorable child here. So, how about it? Would you like to see the fireworks? Throw some darts and play fusion with me?
Over the night, the young boy enjoyed the company of this fox-eyed stranger. With her promise kept, they finally both head to a spot near the forest and watch the fireworks together as they light up the night sky, bringing joy and wonder to a summer festival. To the young boy, this was a spectacle to his eyes. With the beauty of the raging colors blooming in the night distracting the young boy, the fox-eyed lady took the chance to say goodbye and leave him with a final note written in a mask. As quoted from the Summer Night's Mask, the fox-eyed lady's words were,
I'm sorry. I departed under the cover of the fireworks. We will most likely never meet again. Take care of yourself.
From then on, the young boy forever cherished that moment, together with the mysterious fox-eyed lady. Jumping on to 10 years after the events, the young boy would go on to marry a girl he admired. However, he would still not forget the encounter he had that night 10 years ago. To celebrate his wife's pregnancy, they prepared to venture to a shrine to give a votive offering. Unconsciously, he took 3 objects that had a sentimental value to him. These were the Summer Night's water balloon, Summer Night's mask, and Summer Night's bloom, which he described as a flower that would not wilt in 10 or even 100 years. On the way up to the shrine, he took a detour and instead went to the place where he and the fox-eyed lady watched the fireworks before. As he went, he saw a figure dressed in white sitting upon that place, but when he came closer, it was just a kitsune or a fox bathing under the sun. In fear, it leaped up the sound of snapping branches and fled into the woods. Reminiscing the past, he saw a familiar object laid on the ground, which was the Summer Night's finale. The story cuts there and begins again when he and his wife attend that year's summer festival. The two first head to the local shrine before heading on to the numerous stalls that the year's festival has available. As they stroll together, he suddenly remembered how he cried when he got lost 10 years ago. This flashback suddenly got him distracted and tripped, spraining his ankle. Unable to move, his wife left him temporarily to look for ointment that can help him withstand the pain. As numerous people were walking the same path as he was sitting on, he quickly went by the wayside to rest. Unexpectedly, a beautiful mask-wearing woman sat down beside him, saying the words,
There are few who know about this spot, but it's the best place to watch the fireworks, you know? My, look at you. You've grown so much. Looks like we should pass on the game of Fusen. I've brought wine though, so later on, let's watch the fireworks together. What do you say?
He could not believe his own eyes, describing it like a dream. As he saw this mask-wearing woman, she had the same aura of the fox-eyed lady he met 10 years ago. It is stated from, It should have been a dream. We haven't met in 10 years, and she had aged not a single day in those years, and yet... He believed that this could be the same lady he met before. His story then ends here, and we could only imagine the events that followed, where his wife returned and they would all watch the fireworks together. He then continued his happy life with his family somewhere in Inazuma. Now, it is heavily possible that the mask-wearing lady he saw was Kazari, the same Kazari who inherited Lady Saigu's memories. It seemed that she wanted to give him a proper goodbye by spending a summer festival together, rather than what she did 10 years ago, leaving him under the cover of the fireworks. Obviously, she could not watch the fireworks with him personally, so instead, her progeny, Kazari, would be the one to go in her place. Before we conclude, I wanted to add some trivia about 3 terms or topics mentioned in this set. For the first one, the kitsune. A kitsune is the literal Japanese word for fox and is mentioned numerous times in Japanese folklore. From these stories, it is said that foxes shapeshift to trick humans. They can take the form of a priest to trick villagers, or a form of a beautiful woman to seduce a man. However, the kitsune's tail has a symbolic significance, and when shapeshifting, foxes have a difficulty hiding these when in human form. The kitsune is also used as a basis to form a mask. A kitsune mask has meaning in religion and folk tradition. In Shinto religion, the fox is a messenger of the god Inari, who is the protector of rice, agriculture, and fertility. The gods themselves can appear in fox shape. Foxes bring a rich harvest, and it is a symbol of wealth. Statues of foxes are the part of shrines dedicated to Inari, and people offer them rice to calm down the foxes. The festivals dedicated to the rice harvest season are held in late summer or early fall. With the next one, the torii gates where the young boy cried. In Japan, torii gates, often painted bright red, represent the border between the mortal and the sacred worlds. The gates act as a passageway into a shrine's sacred space. Once you walk across the torii gate, it means that you have entered the sacred, special space. Torii gates can also identify other sacred spots, such as a mountain or a rock. It is because these gates are said to embody the deity which is believed to exist in nature. This belief is called animism, a Japanese indigenous belief which has a long history. In-game, we can see most of these near shrines in Inazuma, and also when Bal showed us her power in the Act 2 of the Archon quest. Lastly is the Summer Festival. Summer festivals do occur in Japan, and they are called Matsuri. They are held all over the country from July through August. Most summer festivals are annual traditions and intended to celebrate the gods, the seasons, and historical events. Some of these festivals even last for weeks. A variety of activities can be done during these festivals, such as shooting games, yo-yo fishing, goldfish catching, ring toss, and mask making. Well, I hope you enjoyed my video about the Retracing Bolide artifact set. I found this when I finished the Sacred Sakura Cleansing Ritual and researched more about Kitsune Saiguu. It surely made me appreciate the questline, as there's clearly a lot of dramatic stories that was put into this world quest. As always, if you have some thoughts about the video and suggestions for future ideas, leave a comment and let us know. Thank you very much for watching, and if you think it deserves one, give this video a like. Once again, my name is Clementine, and as usual, until the next one, be safe and stay tuned.